once again for the renegade master. Back 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 once again for the renegade master.
Hello, my renegades. So we are back on Love Island season 10 episode 39, and I have just finished it. So half the motherfucking presses, here we are. So as we know, Elam and Kath were flown off into the ether, and who is going to join them? And it was Montal and Leah, which wasn't kind of too shocking in terms of Montal and Leah going, to be fair. And I would have to kind of agree with Katie in the fact that I'm thinking, how come they were up there but not Scott and Amber at the end of the day? Because Scott and Amber ain't, let's be honest, Scott and Amber ain't no couple. They're not in a couple. It's a friendship. They had to couple with someone. Scott had no choice but to pick Amber at the end of the day because the one he wanted was already picked. Okay. So let's just say that it should have been really Scott and Amber up there. So Katie was kind of right. And then the next upset is someone was saying, like, what is it the public is seeing that we don't see? Well, basically, love, we're seeing all the bullshit. We're seeing every bit of bullshit that's playing out and how you lot are going on with each other and what we don't like and what we don't want to continue to see we'll get rid of. I think when it came to Montal and Leah, basically it's when Montal did his fuck shit with Tink and then probably played about in Leah's face a little bit before telling her the truth, and then he did his grand gesture a little bit too late in my respect. And then it was kind of how he carried on when at movie night, when he basically made a farce and a joke out of Leah and got the boys laughing, which was a bit stupid on his part at the end of the day. So I'm thinking those factors may have played into it just a little bit, don't you think? But you's like, let me know how you thought about that. But that's what I'm thinking in terms of why them two were picked. We all know why Kath and Elam were picked. It weren't necessarily Elam, it was Kath at the end of the day. We all know that. We all know that situation. So then, you know, everybody's just like sitting around somber and just in their feels, which I'm not surprised about. So next morning they all get up, they're all still somber, and what do they fucking do to him? Texts, 2 texts to be in fact. So it was one for Jess to get up and get ready and go meet Josh for a date. And then the other one was a text for Mitch to go meet Ella. We'll call it Ella 2 for this one, to go meet Ella for a date, basically. And let's just put it this way, Sammy's face was a motherfucking picture, but Abby's face was even more of a picture. Because I'm kind of like, I was watching Abby throughout this whole episode, and I'm like, hold on a minute, my girl. How can you act the way that you're acting when Mitch has stepped back and basically giving you carte blanche to go get on and get along with Scott? That's why I'm glad Whit pulled you up with your bullshit, as if to say, nah, you do not have a leg to stand on when you've been getting to know Scott and playing about with Scott in Mitch's face, knowing that Mitch was pissed with it at the end of the day. So how in the fuck can you then get on the back foot and get angry and be like, well, if he's going, I don't want nothing to do with him, I don't think we're going to be together, it's just a piss take, it's this, it's that. I'm like, nah, slow your motherfucking roll, my girl, slow your motherfucking roll, because at the end of the day, all you're doing is bare ass showing your insecurities. But anyway, we'll come more onto Abby and the shit that she shows and the shit that she says throughout this whole episode, which basically shows where her mind is at, and the fact that it's literally opening up a door to all her insecurities, and how she feels that Mitch should be behaving when she hasn't been behaving the same way. All I would say is hypocrite much, like full on hypocrite much. Anyway, we'll move to the dates. The dates were a bit dry. They're okay. Do you know what I mean? They got on, they spoke. Jess was quite respectful. Josh was quite respectful as well. He was trying to do a little bit of flirty banter with Jess, which she accepted, but not to the extent that Mitch was entertaining Ella, to be fair. And Ella was just on one, like she was fully on one. She was putting down game, like she was saying, you better be picking up what I'm putting down. Like Ra just flirting with Mitch, 10 to the motherfucking dozen. Like she seriously took her title, her bombshell title, to the essence of it. Like basically she's gonna come in that place and throw a fucking grenade and hope to bust some shit open, but we'll gravitate more and more into that because certain things start to come out. All I will say to use is people need to stop motherfucking playing in Ella One's face, and that's what I'm gonna call her, Ella One's face, Ty's Ella, because she won't brook no argument with you. She will pull you up on your bullshit and she ain't gonna pay no mind to it. If she can't fucking slap you down physically, she will slap you down verbally. Stop playing with her because she ain't that girl. She's not that girl, and people seem to think that they can come in and take advantage and think she is that girl. She ain't that girl. She is not. And I think Ella too, as I get to the end of the episode, in the next episode, is gonna fucking find out how fiery and how pissed off that Ella can get that she will snap your throat straight out your fucking neck. Let's just put it that way. So, you know, they've been on a date, as they do. They bring them back in. Jess and Mitch brings them both back in. Everybody's going aye aye. Ty's face straight away. That was the piece like, oh, Ella, like I know her, and he's like, and Ella One's face just looked at him as if to say, don't fuck with me, you know, don't play your games with me, you know. But Ella didn't say nothing. All it took was that look. It was just that look, but Ty looked uncomfortable. Like even when people were hugging her and saying hello, he didn't really eggs himself up in there to hug her first. In that sense, he waited for her to come to him, and he hugged her, and then he stepped back, and then his hands was on his head, and he was like, oh, as if to say, yeah, I know that girl. And then he did explain, whereas Ella too didn't tell the girls at all how she knew Ty, but Ty did tell the lads in terms of how he knew Ella, in regards to that it was he knew her from her socials. They did speak, he saw her in the clubs, and they did kiss at some point in time. But at that first stage, he didn't tell Ella at all either. So I thought, oh shit, here we go again. This is all they need. They're getting on an even fucking track, and then this is all they pissing need, is this needle in the haystack. So I'm thinking, oh God, you need to tell her. You need to tell Ella, Ty. You need to tell Ella at the end of the day. So it wasn't until I think they were all having a chat, and Ella too goes over to Ty, the audacity of it, to be fair, total audacity of it, and pulls Ty for a chat. Ella One didn't say nothing, just looked at her as like, okay, that's fine, you do what you gotta do, but I know my man, I'm gonna have to trust him. So he pulls him for a chat, and this girl was macking on him hard, and not even just a little bit. She was literally launching herself at him, not physically, but verbally launching herself at him, basically telling him where her head is at and what type of demon time that she's on right now. And Ty wasn't really entertaining it that much, so I'll give him that. He wasn't really entertaining it that much. He did tell her about Ella and the work he's done and the connection that they're at the moment. And yes, they do have a few bits to iron out, but that's where he is, and that's where he's looking to stay at the end of the day. That's kind of like a red flag to a bull for some women. It's like, I've got to try my best to try and split use the fuck up, and if I can do that, I will do. But I think Ella too has had it in her head that the person that she is gonna freaking gun for is Ty, to be honest with you. Because don't forget, they get to watch this shit before they go in there, so they already have an idea of who it is, of who they want. I think Ella too just kind of muddied the waters a little bit by taking Mitch, because she didn't want to she didn't want to bust the bubble too early on. Like when Ella too was having that conversation with Mitch and saying to Mitch that, you know, he's on the list, but she does have her eye on somebody else, and we know who she has her eye on. Okay, so I'm going too far ahead of myself again. So back to the conversation. He basically tells Ty that, you know, basically she was putting it out there that she wants him in a roundabout way, like talking about the kiss that they had and how the hugs that they shared and stuff like that, and the talks that they had. And Ty didn't necessarily shut the shit down like he should have done. I don't think he was, don't get me wrong, I don't think he was entertaining the chatter that she said at all. I think he was just like blasé about it, like, is it okay, that kind of chatter. But me myself, I would have shut that shit down straight away, making it clear to her that this is not going to happen. So if you've come in here thinking that you're going to get between me and my girl, I'm going to clear that misunderstanding up pretty quickly. It is not and never will going to happen. So don't come and start bullshit between me and my girl. That's all I'm going to say to you. And that's what Ty should have said to her in a roundabout way, nice as however you want to dress it up, that he is off limits, like completely off limits. So he then talks to Ella in the kitchen, Ty does, and Ty basically, as true as he is, he tells Ella exactly how he knew Ella too and how that went and what Ella too had basically said. But then he fucks it up by saying, when she says, well, did you entertain it? And he was hesitant, you know, as Ty does. And yeah, he kind of fucked that one up a little bit. I'm like, nah, Ty, you should be saying, you should have shut this. This is why I said you should have shut that shit down heavily. Okay. So then we move on to the mess that is absolutely Abby. I've never known anything like it, to be fair. She's getting all het up because Ella has pulled Mitch for a conversation and wanting basically, actually, let me start right there. It was Abby pulled Mitch for a conversation first to have a discussion with him about him getting to know Ella too, and having chats and seeing how the date went and this, that and the other. Because she knew what was said on the date, because she'd sat with the girls and heard Ella too talking about Mitch saying that he was open and he doesn't mind getting to know her, yada yada yada. So Mitch was honest at the end of the day, and she was like, yeah, well, that's what she said. And he went, yeah. And then she literally started to have a little breakdown, and I'm thinking, where is this coming from? Because you weren't having no motherfucking breakdowns when you took out your smallest booty shorts and started doing what you classed as the gym with Scott, and bending over and doing your little stances in your freaking booty shorts, do you know what I mean? And having a laugh and a flirt with him and everything like that, even to the point where Zach was saying he would like to be on a fly on the wall to see what Scott's game is. Scott does have game, to be fair. I ain't gonna lie, Scott does, he does have a bit of game, he has a bit of the chatter. But she was not worrying about Mitch at that stage. So I don't understand where all this insecurity and this crybaby is coming from right now. Because to me, that is a major double standard at the end of the day. Because you're saying what is good for the goose is not good for the gander in your book. So basically, you're putting down a law that he cannot talk to this person. Even Jess was giving you advice and speaking to Abby and basically telling her that, you know what, don't go off at all. Sit back and let him talk to this girl at the end of the day, because he will come and speak to you and tell you what the discussions were about and how things went. Don't go off on one. At the end of the day, you spoke to Scott. It's the same kind of thing. So why are you getting upset for? And she literally went in. This girl went in that she didn't think it was right. She didn't want him to. I don't want to be. he's put me as his number one, but then that means someone could still come in and steal the spot or do whatever. I'm like, you really have some insecurities that you really need to work on. So if your game plan was, I'm going to deal with Scott, but I'm going to only do this in order to bring Mitch closer to me, so to make him jealous, it's not going to work. At the end of the day, you need to be open and honest with someone. So I'm sorry, Abby, but you can't stop him from talking to whoever the fuck comes in because he's not closed off to you. So now you got to the point where Abby's saying that she's probably going to close off things with Scott. Only so then that Mitch don't talk to this girl. So if she stops talking to Scott completely and then tells Scott, then she's of the hope that Mitch, once she tells Mitch, that Mitch will stop speaking to this girl. And I'm like, that's a fucking childish game to play, like an absolute childish game to play. And Jess is right. She said at the end of the day, if you did that and then he decided, nah, he's still going to get to know this girl, then basically if then them two couple up, she says, then you're on a freaking limb on your own. So why would you cut your nose off to spite your face at the end of the day? Which is kind of true. So as I said, there isn't much more to go on in regards to this episode, but I am waiting with bated breath for the next one, because in the next one you see Ella fucking bite. Like, Ella put it down to the point where, nah, man, Ella's telling Ella too, don't play with me and don't play in my face and don't play with my man, basically. That's what Ella is telling you. And Ella too needs to fucking respect that, because Ella won't say it again. She's telling you once, but she ain't going to tell you twice. Now she's warned ya, keep the fuck away from my man. And we shall see how that episode plays out, and I can't wait. But as again, my dears, you let me know what you think. Come and have a discussion in the comments. Please, as I always say, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button, and I'll speak to you all soon. Peace out.